Hello there, my very good friends. On today's very quiet wrestling news video, WWE is about to be sold to Saudi Arabia.
Stephanie McMahon resigns from WWE with immediate effect.
We're going to go over the backstage reaction to Stephanie resigning.
And Vince McMahon has been unanimously elected chairman of the board. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
You ever wake up in the middle of a hurricane? Because that's what I did this morning. First I saw the Stephanie news, then I saw the Saudi Arabia news. Now my head does not comprehend a single thing.
I had no idea about this walking into the office today. I watched NXT, went, there we go, it was a nice little New Year's Eve. Wandered in. What's going on?
You wanted the office so nonchalant, like, morning guys, morning. And I was like, that's a very interesting way to approach today's news. But yes, let's kick things off by talking about WWE's about to be sold. Man, this is mental. So rumours of this started swirling when Brian Alvarez tweeted, I think monster news is imminent. Right? People got talking, stuff got out there, rumours all over the place. A couple of hours later, or about an hour later, Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, who's broken several big stories in the past, one that comes to mind instantly is Bryan Danielson to AEW, but Cassidy tweeted, for what it's worth, I'm told the Saudi deal is done and they're taking the company private. Of course, it was rumoured last week when it emerged that Vince was coming back to sell WWE. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund were pinpointed as potential buyers of the company. So Haynes came back a short while later with an update saying the deal isn't completely finalised because WWE must provide notice to shareholders and other parties. There are legalities to go through as the company is publicly traded. But again, I'm told a deal has been agreed in principle. This has been corroborated now by Steven Muehlhausen of DAZN, who says, according to sources, WWE has been sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. The company will be going private. Unknown if Vince McMahon will return to head of creative, but it is expected by some people. Now, Fightful Select, meanwhile, and Sean was on Twitter active as well about stuff, reports that they've heard of the sale rumours as well, but not enough to confirm anything. They stress that, you know, WWE haven't confirmed anything yet. Several times. Staff in WWE haven't been notified of a sale. Production crew and writing members, they're in the dark, they don't know. Talent hasn't been briefed either, but one talent commented that if the sale goes through, they are done with WWE, so that's interesting. We'll talk about stuff like that in our questions in a minute. Now, before we dive into this, a little bit of background, obviously. WWE and Saudi Arabia technically have been working together since 2014, when WWE held its first tour of the nation. But the partnership intensified in 2018 with the signing of a 10-year strategic partnership, it was called, with the Saudi General Sports Authority, through which WWE currently promotes 2 annual shows in the country every year to the tune of around $50 million. Now, all of this is part of the Saudi Vision 2030 program, which is, of course, designed primarily to rehabilitate the image of a country with very bad human rights violations, as we always mention when we cover these things. And WWE's participation in this has led to understandable allegations of sports washing. Now, Public Investment Fund, PIF, they own Newcastle United Football Club. They've got other things going on. There's boxing matches and all of that is part of the whole thing. They hold assets worth around $620 billion, so they're very rich.
So they can afford it.
Yeah, they can absolutely afford it. The criticism is obviously because of the governmental ties and because this is effectively propaganda. These shows are there to go, hey, look at the progress and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, their LGBTQ+ rights in particular are absolutely horrendous. That's just the tip of the iceberg, though. There's loads of bits and pieces there that we can't adequately go over because we don't have 400 minutes. Hit me.
I genuinely don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the Vince story breaking last week, we were like, oh, 2022 stand back. 2023's, you know, contending for the craziest year in wrestling. It's already happened.
Yeah.
That's it. 2022, more like.
2023, more like.
It's all, 2023. What day are we on?
11.
Jeez.
It's not even 2 weeks old.
I mean, it's as good as done, isn't it? Like you say, there's stuff that they have to do, but it's as good as done.
Seems so.
I mean, I realise that I've just been caught by this story, but I think if I'd had a week to prepare, I'd still been like, I mean, no one. What happens now?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. And we'll talk over some of the implications when we get to our Twitter questions. They're all about this. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we speak about the Saudi deal extensively. We'll get to that in the questions.
Yeah. And then obviously there's the shockwaves that have already hit off the back of this, including Stephanie McMahon immediately resigning.
This was actually before the Saudi news broke. But yeah. I mean,
she announced it via Twitter, saying that obviously she'd originally taken leave from WWE about 8 months ago. Then all the Vince stuff happened. She came back. Now she's decided to leave and take it one step further by officially resigning from her roles within the promotion. She will be cheering on WWE from the other side as a fan. She signed off for the usual then, now, forever stuff. She said, don't worry, it's in strong hands with Triple H and Nick Khan. Honestly, it's bad this, but I'm just speechless about all the stories today.
It's crazy. This crazy part of this story.
I was all ready to talk about Jinder Mahal.
TV.
What's going on? Jinder Mahal popping up at New Year's Eve.
I
feel like that's maybe a lesser story.
That was almost our lead story this morning, and then I saw the real stories. The Stephanie situation. So yeah, I mean, if you take her statement at face value, I mean, I've got some magic beans I'd like to sell you. You can read through it. She talks about like what I'm looking forward to watching the business from the other side now and all of this stuff. Yeah, there we go. She'd only been in the role for like 6 months.
They're all going to buy gold boats, aren't they, basically?
And sell them across a sea of gold to a golden... everything's made of money, is what we're trying to say. Stephanie resigned. What's the backstage reaction to that been? Well, Fightful Select have the scoop, as always. Yeah, I mean... What is going on, man? What is it? I'm still comprehending all this stuff.
It hits you in waves, doesn't it, this story?
Yeah. So, Fightful corroborating that Nick Khan is now the CEO of WWE, first of all. They also note that Triple H remains as WWE Chief Content Officer for now, still in charge of managing talent and live events. This has been stressed to the outlet several times. Triple H is still in his position at the time
You're
of
telling me there's
recording.
a chance.
What a week this is going to be. It was noted that Stephanie is a well-liked figure backstage. This is nothing new. We kind of knew that, but you need to contextualize reports like this, so shout out to Fightful. They spoke to several talents about the situation within WWE. Yeah, everyone was confused. People were wondering what this really meant for Stephanie and Nick Khan, and the general consensus was one of uncertainty. Now, prophetically, one talent commented that they hoped that this meant WWE sale was on the horizon. Then about an hour later, the Saudi thing came out.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
And now the PIF is about to buy them, the Saudi PIF, Public Investment Fund. There you go. Stephanie and Nick Khan were, of course, appointed co-CEOs. Stephanie was appointed chairwoman as well, in the wake of Vince resigning in disgrace last July. Obviously, Vince McMahon resigned because he reportedly paid tens of millions of dollars to suppress allegations of sexual assault. We need to remind people of that. He did not retire. Do not give him that. He resigned in disgrace. And now he's back and he's won.
Yeah.
He's won.
His punishment was 6 months on the sidelines.
Yeah.
If that.
Take a holiday. A holiday probably sounds like hell to that lunatic, but yeah.
Yeah, but it... Because he's the executive chairman of the board now.
Yep.
That's my final story of the day. I tell you, just hits you in waves, this. Obviously, as I mentioned, Stephanie resigned as co-CEO and chairwoman, and Vince was unanimously, easy for me to say, voted in as executive chairman of WWE's board. There was a big press release all about it. Stephanie McMahon has resigned. Nick will serve as WWE CEO. Vince had a statement. I'm not going to read it, actually. I can't be arsed.
Yeah, why bother?
He had a puffy statement about, thanks, Steph. Me and Nick are going to do everything best for WWE, but it doesn't really matter now, does it?
Yeah, it's all bollocks. It's all bollocks. You can read it. It's on our website. Yeah, I mean, this was just a formality as well, really, because he wanted to come back as executive chairman. Yeah, I mean, when he wrote that letter to WWE in December, and this was published in his press release and all of that, like, in the SEC filing, it's right there. So this definitely happened. When he wrote to them and said, I want to return as executive chairman to facilitate media rights deals and all this. The board of directors wrote back and said, I mean, we can work together on a potential agreement or whatever, brother, but you returning in a role is not good for our shareholders.
A few months, actually not even, a few weeks later.
Yeah, he replied and said, no, I'm doing it, screw you.
I'll be doing it or I'll hold you hostage.
Yeah.
Just timeline me here, Andy. This time last week, nothing, correct? It broke on what, Thursday last week?
In the public, as of what had been made public, yes, nothing. And it broke on Thursday.
7 days!
7
It's
days.
gone from, what's the best way I can put it? Chugging along nicely to start 2023 to, I know it's not official yet, effectively being sold to Saudi Arabia. Steph's gone. Triple H and, well, Nick Khan's different, but Triple H, who knows, 7 days' time. A week's a long week in wrestling. Was it 7 days is a long week in wrestling? I forgot what the phrase is.
The sale might be complete by tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And now executive chairman of the board, Vince McMahon.
Triple H might be out. Who the hell knows? This is wild. This is crazy. This is out of control. I am very confused.
Yeah.
Should we do some Twitter questions?
Yeah, I mean, this is just something we're going to go through together.
Yeah.
We'll probably do lots more videos on this in the coming minutes, hours, days, weeks, months.
Word on the street is that you'll have a little Y from Simon Miller later today.
What a legend.
We can do that.
Maybe he can make me feel something about this.
Make me whole again. Atomic Kitten. Yeah, for WWE, this has been a 7-day period that would make Craig David blush. But let's dive into some of the questions.
And he chilled on Sunday.
He did.
Lazy bastard.
Philly, YouTube community, thank you for your questions through there today. Philly to the J asks, I know I'm late, but I gotta know, does WWE exist in 2024 knowing what we know?
Mate, I don't know if WWE exists next week.
I think
I was all excited for us going to Money there. WhatCulture trip to Money in the Bank in London in start of July.
Can't wait for that now. Cool.
I don't. It may exist. What it looks like is because they're going private, as you mentioned.
Yes.
We sort of, didn't really. That's going to be interesting. They're not then, therefore. I don't know.
I think yes.
I'm not a business guy. Can you tell?
Yeah, we'll get Brandon Thurston on the phone.
I'd love to speak to Brandon Thurston.
He's a tremendous man. He does great work. WrestleNomics, shout outs. Happy very much to pay my Patreon because his work is incredible. But yes, WWE exists in 2024. Yes, the grim truth of all this, right? I think is that the majority of WWE fans don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. Look. I think with situations like this, you have to draw your own line, right? And like, I was a Newcastle United fan all my life. It's my dad's football team, right? Came down countless times to watch games. 1 year in the relegation season, 2009, whenever it was, we drove all the way from Aberdeen to Newcastle for a 7:45 kickoff, watched Michael Owen miss a sitter as captain, drew 0-0, and then drove all the way back. It was against Portsmouth. We got home at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We did that in 1 day. I like the team is my point. And when, the PIF invested in that club, I completely cut all ties, switched off completely as a fan. If people are going to do that with WWE, and I think people will, that's their right, and you can't criticize them for that. Look, if I wasn't covering this sport, I would absolutely do that as well. But as media people, it's our job to give you the full picture of stuff like this.
But on the flip side of that, you thought they had money before to throw around?
Yeah. There you go.
Like in terms of counteracting losing X amount of fans, then, I mean, it's going to be so fascinating to see what comes next.
Also, Scott Carlson, our writer, asked on Twitter, just asking about like shareholders and stakeholders and everything, who might be put off by this. Yeah, that's very valid as well. Some people will be like, no, I don't want these associations. On the other side of it, the grim truth, I think, is that everything's going to be fine for WWE because I don't think that most people are that conscientious. I have little faith in humanity. Humanity's the devil. Shout outs to integrity. Look at all
the perfect example. Look at the Qatar World Cup.
Boom.
People were, up in arms about it. Did it go ahead? Did it still get the same amount, if not more, coverage?
Yeah. There you go. Wow.
So I'm really sorry about the massive gaps in silence on this video, but Andy and I are a bit flabbergasted.
Yeah, I wish
today.
this broke at like midday or
something.
Right,
I haven't had a coffee yet.
Gabriel Santos has been on. Would like to know how many wrestlers do you think will either quit or walk out because of the news? I think
not as many as you were expecting.
Not as many as you're expecting. I think a handful at most. Yeah, because I think people just like money. Like it's
not the only game in town, obviously now.
My misanthropy is really coming through here.
But it is one of the only games in town.
Yeah, it's.
And if you've got a big position in that company, even if, and I'm not pinpointing anyone here, I'm just using this as an example, but if you're a mid-card champion right now, right, morally, whatever you want to believe, you got to know that they're going to give a big old push to everyone in that company, the company itself, but particularly the champions. And look, I'm glad I don't work for them, because it's a hell of a quandary, isn't it? In terms of
really
morally one thing, but financially and career-wise, geez, I'm really, I can't go. I need to lie down.
Yeah,
It's
crazy, man.
9:10, and it's all become too much.
Final question
Yes.
comes from Justin Martinez, who would like to know, how is the WWE Women's Division going to fare without Stephanie McMahon, especially now that Vince McMahon is back behind the scenes and the company just got by Saudi Arabia? So yeah, there's two concerns there, obviously, Stephanie's departure and the takeover with regards to the Women's Division. But I don't want to throw roses at Stephanie McMahon, right? Philanthropy is the future of marketing. She quoted that years ago. It's the most cynical thing you've heard ever. I don't necessarily think she was this great champion of the division or whatever.
Well, she did invent the women's revolution.
Yeah, she invented women's wrestling, actually. She was one of the original jumping bomb angels, in fact.
That's right.
She trained Manami Toyota, and Velvet McIntyre wouldn't be anything.
Yeah. It was the Stephanie McMahon Classic, wasn't it?
That's what it was.
Yeah, that was what
maybe she doesn't want those associations. Justin, yeah, what do you reckon, women's division?
I'll tell you what I'll say. A penny for Mercedes Monet's thoughts right about now.
She made the right move, brother.
She might show up on Dynamite tonight. There's all the wrestling going on.
Yeah. Is there?
Look, it's improved the way they present women's wrestling when they take WWE Saudi Arabia. That's the end of the sentence, that, mate.
It's gone from a 0 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope, because it's been trending in the right direction. Like, this time yesterday, I was, here we bloody go, WrestleMania, baby. Becky Lynch has got a card open. Who knows what's going to happen there? Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair's back. You got all these people coming in.
I tell you what.
Now, brother.
This TV is pissing me off. Yeah. Of all the things to piss me off today, it's the TV. Look, Studio 2.
Yeah.
We don't have to, we've got, is this Studio?
I don't know, where's Studio 1 then?
My brain is dribbling out of my ear. Can we end it? Can we just...
Yeah, no, and finally today.
Yeah, no.
Because...
Can we just...
Today's not going to finish for quite some time, so we can't really say and finally. We will bring you out anything and everything as this develops.
Simon will be on later today. Check out him.
And, we'll probably have to sit down and do a podcast about this as well.
Yeah.
To get the Dadley's thoughts.
I've actually got... I know, I've got that.
Yeah. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears peeled. WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel because, yeah, we will keep you updated on everything. And, yeah, let us know your thoughts as if anyone needs any encouragement today at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter. Or actually, you can follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for...
Also stands for... How about a coffee, hey? Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. For now, at least. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us.
It's literally in our name.
We'll see you soon.